Alright. Hi, this is Grayson Morgan, and this is my video for my submission of the IMD274 final project. I put a lot of effort into this project, and I am honestly pretty satisfied with how it came out. It's obviously very different from what I initially wanted to do was more of a narrative game, but I didn't really have the resources or the skills to put that together in the semester that I was given. But what I have now does satisfy all of the needs in the rubric for the final. It just isn't what I originally wanted to do with the stuff that I've made over the semester. So this would, it still has all the like basic components that I was going for, as far as like the layout and the functionality of everything. It just isn't, it doesn't have that narrative aspect to it. But yeah, so this is the prison door for the player cell. All the other doors don't open because I didn't have time to implement the like fellow prison mates just because it didn't work out. But yeah, so that door opens, and then this door says it's locked whenever you first start playing. And then if you go around this corner, there are more enemies. Yeah, and there's ammo scattered throughout that you can pick up, and it'll add to your ammo. There's health bar that depletes with the enemy attacks, and med kits you can pick up to get that health back up. And then the shields, I've only put 2 during this like base level that I created. Yeah, but the shields actually do provide 50% protection, which is why I was so hesitant to put too many of them. Just because they are kind of overpowered, if you would say. But then, yeah. This key is for that door that I showed earlier, over here. And if you walk up to it with the key, it will open that door is locked message. And then that does lead to the roof, where I was hopefully going to add a cutscene, but obviously didn't get to that. I think it is a very good base for that narrative game that I was hoping to make. I could definitely use this map to develop that. I just don't have the skills to actually make a narrative game. I just don't have the programming skills yet, to be honest. But yeah, I have posters throughout the rooms, and I feel like I really like how the layout turned out, although I didn't get to the conveyor belt, which obviously it doesn't really matter during this little like level, but during the actual like narrative game, the conveyor belt is a major part of the story. But I felt like it wasn't that important since I couldn't implement the narrative, so it didn't really matter that I didn't have the conveyor belt. But yeah, I have lights scattered throughout the rooms, and they tend to flicker, which is not actually something intentional, but I think it really does add to the kind of like creepy aspect of the prison, which is handy. Other than that, I had a lot of fun with the sound effects. So like when you shoot someone, there's an effect. I don't know if you noticed, I'm assuming, but when you play the terminate sound, and I'm having some trouble with when you first start playing, it plays both of the door sound effects as well as the enemy terminate sound effect. And when you first pick up the gun, it plays the shoot sound even though you don't have ammo. But yeah, and you're not shooting, obviously. But other than that, I think it turned out pretty well, considering. If you shoot the enemies, there is like a sound effect when you hit them, and obviously if you don't hit them, the sound effect isn't there. Oh crap, I might die. But yeah, I had a lot of fun making this. I feel like the level design could definitely be better. I wanted to add like a kind of like maze look with these pipes that are on the walls here, and there's a lot that I didn't get to that I would love to implement if I continue to work on this game outside of this class. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to make. Trying to think of other things to say. As far as like the level design and like stuff we learned in 165, there isn't a lot of that in here, just because I was trying to get the functionality down before I worked on the level design, and that took much longer than I was expecting. Because I ran into a couple of bugs, especially with the enemies. I don't know if you noticed, but as you like attack the enemies, they kind of like sway to the side, and that was not intentional. Although I don't hate the look of that, it just doesn't really. It's not something I intentionally did. But I think doing the transform.lookAt to get the player to look, or get the enemy to look at the player, was probably the issue there. It would probably be better if I was able to like restrain the Z-axis, or I guess the Y-axis in Unity, in Blender mode Z, but the Y-axis in Unity, if I could like keep that from moving, but keep the X and Z rotation, then that would probably be nice, and they would stop spinning. But yeah, if and when I get around to implementing the narrative, I would love to add like another enemy that kind of guards doors like the walkers do now. Because initially I wanted to have like some bigger, bulkier enemies that would guard doors and attack the player in the way that the walkers do now. And then the walkers were going to be like leading the player through the conveyor belts and meal times and stuff like that. But that is something I would have to implement later. Other than that, I don't know. Trying to think of other things that I need to touch on. The posters were fun to make. All of these Blender models were made by me, and the textures as well. The HUD, the user interface, is not where I would like it to be. It's just got the stats right now. And if I had had more time and energy, honestly, to develop that, what I was going for was maybe like a border around it, kind of like a sci-fi looking border. And then while the narrative was running, the inner monologue was going to show up in like a text box at the bottom of the screen, and like the doors locked message would probably be, and yeah, walker communications would probably have subtitles. I would have loved to implement like an options page as far as like sound effects and subtitles and stuff like that. But that would take a lot more skill than I think I have right now. Other than that, yeah, I had a lot of fun during this class. This is the closest to actually what I want to do with game development that I've ever gotten during this program. Because I really like the programming side of things. I like developing scripts and implementing them in games. Not to say that I never did that during this class, I just never really focused on it. Most of my classes were based more on like design and modeling and textures and all that, which is good information to have, but just not really what I wanted to focus on. But yeah, I actually am planning to transfer to their computer science degree that they have this upcoming fall, and I think doing this program at Sky is going to really help me develop those skills quicker during that program as compared to the like going in it flat out. Just because now I have a lot of experience with the more design aspects of things. But yeah, thank you for listening. This is the game. Yeah. I'm going